Welcome back to another exciting episode on the show, Control or Be Controlled podcast, designed to help you start thinking differently and take control of your life. And as always, I remain your humble host, Darlington. Today's guest is Ali Christos, a quantum hypnosis practitioner, meditation teacher, coach, and author who helps people access the subconscious mind and what many describe as the higher self to gain clarity, healing, and deeper self understanding. After spending more than 15 years in real estate and coaching, Ali realized that lasting change doesn't come from better strategies alone. It comes from understanding the subconscious patterns that quietly shapes our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Today, he works with clients around the world, guiding them through quantum hypnosis sections that explore past life memories, emotional blocks, and profound personal transformation. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that introduction.
I did.
All right, so let's get into the questions I have for you. So you spent over 15 years in real estate before becoming a quantum hypnosis practitioner, right?
hmm
So why did you leave real estate and why did you make that dramatic career change?
Well, it wasn't like one day I woke up and I said, "Hey, I don't want to do real estate. I want to be a past life regressionist." It wasn't anything like that. In fact, it was a series of events that led to my spiritual awakening and ultimately me deciding to work in a realm that's more conducive to who I've become. And some of those experiences were near death experiences, others were incredible meetings with some spiritual people. And that combined with my meditation practice, my yoga practice, and the readings that I came across related to spirituality and our reality brought me to quantum hypnosis. And that's how I would summarize it.
Okay, so for listeners who have never heard of quantum hypnosis, I myself I haven't heard of quantum hypnosis before. What is it and how does a typical section work?
So, quantum hypnosis was a term that was first dubbed by my teacher, Dolores Cannon. And she developed this type of hypnosis over the period of several decades. She started off with traditional hypnosis, where people would come to her for weight loss, for quitting smoking, phobias, those kind of things. And then she found that people would go into past lives, and she would be able to also access a higher aspect of them that she dubbed the subconscious, but some people may know it as the higher self. So quantum hypnosis is what she ended up calling it. In fact, she calls it QHHT, which is quantum hypnosis healing technique. And so this is a form of guided hypnosis that helps a person enter a deeply relaxed, focused state and explore memories, emotions, beliefs, imagery, and inner guidance. In a session, someone may experience scenes that feel like past lives, symbolic stories or images that they need to see, childhood memories, emotional insights, a sense of communicating with a higher part of themselves that we call the higher self or the subconscious. And they get answers that seem to arise from a deeper level of awareness. So different people interpret these experiences differently. Some see them spiritually, while others view them as imagination, metaphor, intuition, or subconscious material. But the experience does not have to be taken literal to be meaningful. A simple way that I would explain it is that quantum hypnosis is a guided process that helps people relax deeply and explore the subconscious mind. So when they experience these memories, symbolic imageries, emotions, or what they interpret as past life or higher self experiences, this is what we call quantum hypnosis. So I don't tell people what those experiences mean. My role is to guide the process to help them reflect on how the material may relate to their present life and help them in living a more fulfilled life.
Okay, thank you so much, Ali. So we often talk about the subconscious mind shaping our lives. So how much of our daily behavior is actually driven by subconscious patterns?
How much of our daily behavior is,
Yes, it's driven by subconscious patterns.
I would say, a lot. Because what we don't realize is that up until the age of 7 years old, we are developing these patterns that end up uh, reoccurring over and over again for the rest of our lives. And when we start to realize that these patterns are running our lives, and oftentimes they're the reason why we attract a certain type of relationship or circumstance, then we start to see that there's more to it. So there's no scientifically established percentage of how much daily behavior is driven by the subconscious. But the popular claim that 95% of the behavior is subconscious is not necessarily a reliable research finding. I frequently cited real world study found that approximately 43% of everyday actions were performed habitually, meaning people repeated them in familiar contexts with relatively little conscious deliberation. So that does not mean that the remaining 57% was fully conscious, nor does it mean every habit comes from unresolved emotional programming. I would say more accurately that the research suggests that roughly 40% of our daily actions may be habitual. And beyond habits, many of our emotional reactions, assumptions, and decisions are also influenced by processes happening outside of our immediate conscious awareness. But science cannot reduce all of that to just one exact percentage. So I would say that yeah, it's pretty significant, the amount that is runs our daily life, and you know, the habitual behavior would be, for example, like brushing your teeth, checking your phone, taking a familiar route. Oftentimes, we do it without even realizing consciously and being fully present, or automatic emotional responses like people becoming defensive, or patterns such as people pleasing, or withdrawal or anxiety after we get triggered are more examples of subconscious behavior. And yet another would be deliberate behavior, such as consciously weighing choices and deciding what to do. This is different because, but sometimes even when we're consciously deciding, there are underlying subconscious patterns that are running those decisions without us actually being aware of those. So the habits become more automatic through repetition in stable contexts, while conscious intentions become less influential over the immediate action. So I would say that much of the human behavior is more automatic than we realize. Research suggests, as I said, about 40% of our daily actions may be habitual, and our conscious choices can also be influenced by patterns operating outside of our immediate awareness.
Okay, so you also help clients connect with what they call the higher self, or so what is the higher self, and what kinds of insights people can receive from the higher self? Practical insights of what I can receive from the higher self.
Sure. So because people not everyone understands what the higher self is, so it's worth defining the higher self in a way that's inclusive rather than dogmatic. So here's what I would say. The higher self is a term that many people use to describe the wisest, most compassionate, and least fear-driven part of themselves. Some understand it to be a spiritual aspect of consciousness. others as intuition or deep inner wisdom, and others as access to the subconscious insights. So different people interpret it differently, but I don't think everyone needs to agree on one explanation for the experience to be meaningful, right? So um, I would say that a simple explanation would be that imagine the part of you that isn't reacting from fear, from ego, or from old conditioning. It's the part that sees the bigger picture, encourages growth, and often responds with incredible clarity, compassion, and honesty rather than impulse. That's what many people mean by the higher self. And so the second part of your question was how does that come up in sessions, right? And uh, how does the higher self show up, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in many of the quantum hypnosis sessions, clients report accessing what they describe as the higher self, or as my teacher calls the subconscious. They often receive insights about recurring patterns, relationships, fears, or life direction. So, whether someone understands those insights as spiritual guidance, subconscious patterns, or symbolic imagination, they can still become very meaningful starting points for reflection and positive change. People come to these sessions with questions, and these questions are what we pose to their subconscious during hypnosis. But even prior to the hypnosis session, we do something called the interview or the pre hypnosis session. And in that portion, we sit down with the client and we go over their entire life from the time they were born, their earliest childhood memories, their school years, their home life, their relationships, anything and everything that's meaningful to them. And we also discuss any of the symptoms that they may be having, physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, patterns that they're seeing that are unwanted. And we then review their questions before we go into the hypnosis. So this lays the foundation for a great hypnosis session, because we believe that, as it says in the Bible, ask and it is given, knock and you shall receive. So during the pre hypnosis session, the client is basically proclaiming what is important to them and why they have come to the quantum hypnosis session. What is their intention? And so, with that, we start the hypnosis portion, which is the second portion, and it's usually about 2 hours long. And once we induce the client into the state of hypnosis, which is essentially a deep form of relaxation, much like meditation, and it's a theta state. So it's the theta brainwave state is similar to when you're about to fall asleep. So it's a very natural state. It's not something where we're controlling the client. They're fully in control. They can stop the session anytime they want, and it's very safe. So unlike plant medicine, such as you look at DMT or ayahuasca, or even shrooms, this type of accessing the subconscious is super safe, and it's a very controlled environment, and it's been proven over thousands and thousands of clients. So when the higher self does come through, it often comes through after it shows a past life, a parallel life, or a future life. Sometimes we go into a portion of the client's current life in the past that they need to see. And then we bring forward the higher self or the subconscious part of their mind, and we pose questions and we do body scan. We look to do healing and discuss any blockages that they may be having in their body. So all of this may sound very out there and miraculous, and in some ways it is. And I myself, coming from the business realm, never really believed in this stuff, to be honest. And it was only after I had the session done on myself that I started to realize that this stuff works, and it's very deep and profound work. And then I proceeded to get hypnotized 3 more times after my first experience. And each time was unique, and each time was super insightful. And I received a lot of guidance, a lot of wisdom, and information that I didn't realize at the time that I actually needed. So the work is really, really incredible. It works on the majority of the population, and it is super safe.
Right. And so, moving on, How can someone begin accessing greater clarity and self-awareness, even if they have never experienced hypnosis before? Someone like me.
Well, there's many ways to access that uh, inner wisdom that we all have. One of those ways is meditation. And I actually encourage clients to meditate. Many of the people that do come are meditators, but some are not. Those that are can attest to the fact that when you are a regular meditator, you sit in silence or you spend time in nature or sitting quietly and you reduce the mental noise, it allows for deeper insights to resurface. And that is how you can access your higher self. You don't really need to be hypnotized, although the hypnosis session is a great way to have a trusted guide such as myself help accelerate the process and make it more intentional and impactful, and hopefully get all your questions answered. And so another way to do it aside from meditation, I would say, is um, journaling. One of the types of journaling you can do is called automatic writing. It's where you don't censor yourself. So often the first honest answer that appears on a paper is closer to your truth than hours of mental debate. So that's yet another way to access your higher self. And also, I would say paying attention to your body. Sometimes your mind says yes while your body feels tense, or your mind is uncertain, but your body feels calm. So neither should be followed blindly, but both offer useful information. And another thing I would say is create space before reacting. Clarity often appears in the pauses between a trigger and your response. So one question I find especially helpful is, if fear wasn't making this decision, what would love, wisdom, or integrity choose? So that doesn't mean that the answer will be easy, but it often becomes much clearer. So clarity isn't about getting more information, it's about removing what is clouding your perception.
Okay, thank you so much. Uh, so moving on, how do meditation, coaching, and quantum hypnosis complement one another in helping people transform their lives?
Um, how does all that I do complement one another to transform a
Yes,
life?
yes,
Is that the question?
yes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked that, because each of the things that I offer, quantum hypnosis, coaching, and also the fact that I encourage meditation, has its place and its benefits. Meditation builds awareness, coaching creates direction and accountability. QHHT, or quantum hypnosis, explores the deeper patterns beneath the surface. So uh, each of these three have their place. So when you do meditation, you're becoming, you're accessing awareness, right? So meditation helps you to notice thoughts, emotions, urges, and reactions without automatically becoming controlled by them. It allows you to become the observer, and it can help you in slowing down. It can help in becoming less reactive and more present, more mindful. It can help in recognizing recurring patterns. It can help create space between a trigger and your response. And it can connect with greater calm. It will help you to connect with your sense of peace and inner clarity. So, meditation helps you see what is happening. And now, when we come to coaching, it's more about action and integration. Coaching helps turn awareness into practical change. So, coaching can help you in clarifying what you want. It can help in identifying obstacles. It can help in creating realistic goals. It can help in making decisions. It can help in building new habits, remaining accountable, and integrating the insights into everyday life. So, coaching helps you decide what to do next and follow through. And that brings me to the third service that I offer, which is quantum hypnosis. And this is quantum hypnosis is about deeper exploration. So in quantum hypnosis, it can help a person to explore the subconscious beliefs, the emotional patterns, the memories, the symbolic imagery, and what they may experience as inner guidance or higher self. So it will help, quantum hypnosis will help reveal why a pattern feels so difficult to change, right? Why do I, for example, keep attracting the same type of relationships? Or, why can I not hold on to money? Or why do I feel repulsed by a certain race, for example? These are things that may be hidden away deep in the subconscious, and we are able to access that and unlock it. Yet another thing that quantum hypnosis helps with is where certain fears or beliefs may have begun, the root causes of them. And many of these beliefs and patterns lead to dis-ease if they're not taken care of. So quantum hypnosis helps with that. We get to the root of it. And oftentimes when a client sees why they are repeating these patterns or where the fears come from, then it disappears. And that's the beauty of it. Another thing that quantum hypnosis helps with is what a behavior has been trying to protect them from. Or deeper emotions, emotional needs that they may have, or themes affecting their identity and their relationships or life direction. Many people come asking for to find out their life purpose, and quantum hypnosis helps with that. So some people interpret the experience spiritually, while others understand it psychologically or symbolically. So it doesn't need to be taken literally to provide the meaningful reflection that quantum hypnosis provides. So how do all three of these work together? I would say that quantum hypnosis may help uncover the pattern. Meditation helps you notice when the pattern is happening, and coaching helps you choose and practice a different response to those patterns. So for example, someone may discover during a session that people pleasing is connected to a deep fear of rejection. And meditation may help them notice the anxiety that appears before they say yes to someone. And then coaching would further help them practice setting boundaries, communicating clearly, and taking consistent action so that they don't override what they actually need when they otherwise would people please. So together, the process can become insight, awareness, action, and integration, one leading to the other. And the important point is that no single experience transforms a life by itself. A powerful insight may open the door, but lasting change usually comes from practicing new choices repeatedly. So I would end by saying that I see quantum hypnosis as a way of exploring what may be happening beneath the surface of the mind. Meditation develops the awareness to recognize those patterns in real time, and coaching helps translate the insight into practical decisions, habits, and accountability. So one reveals, one observes, and one helps integrate. The combination can support meaningful transformation, but the client still has to live the change.
Okay, Ali. So, if there's one message you would like listeners to remember about healing, consciousness, and personal transformation, what would it be? Just one message.
Well, one message that I would like to leave the audience with is you are not your patterns. You are not your patterns. You are the awareness that can notice them, understand them, and choose differently. Okay? So transformation doesn't happen because you have one profound insight. It happens because you become aware of your patterns and understand them with compassion and repeatedly choose a different way of living.
Okay, Adam, thank you so much, Ali. So, if listeners want to connect with you and be part of the quantum hypnosis, how can they do that?
The best way to connect with me at the moment is through my main website, which is qhhtwithali.com. And QHHT stands for Quantum Hypnosis Healing Technique with Ali.com. And there you will find my three services, my YouTube channel link, my Instagram link, many blogs with a lot of information that's helpful. And then the second way to connect with me is through my brand, myspiritualteacher.ca. And on myspiritualteacher.ca stands for Canada. You'll be able to find some of the books I've published on spirituality that can help you on the spiritual path, and also over 200 musical tracks that I've published related to spirituality and spiritual awakening.
Okay, thank you so much, Ali. This has been a very exciting episode. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and the perspective with me and my audience. So
you're most welcome. Yeah, thank you.
All right, so guys, make sure to check out Ali's work. Me personally, I have not been hypnotized before, but I like to study my patterns and I try to break them. But Ali, it's not very easy to break patterns. You know that it's not easy to break patterns. And when I try to break patterns, I see myself still doing those old patterns. So, all right, so I would try to connect with you also and send you a message personally on my own. Thank you so much, Ali, for coming to my show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Okay, I'll see you guys again on the next episode. Bye, guys.